Hey, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about another book. So this one is called Tuesday's Gone by Nicci French. Yeah, I have some thoughts on it, but we're going to go ahead and we will read the summary and then we will get into it. When a London social worker makes a routine home visit, she discovers her psychotic client, Michelle Doyce, serving afternoon tea to a naked, decomposing corpse covered in flies. With no clues as to the man's identity, testy Detective Chief Inspector Carlson once again calls on the brilliant, reclusive psychotherapist Frida Klein to make sense of Michelle's confused ramblings. Frida is every bit as sharp as Carlson and unconventionally talented at stepping into the minds of others, especially the lost souls of this world. Frida soon discovers that the body belongs to one Robert Poole, con man extraordinaire. As they interview each of Poole's victims, Frida and Carlson find the motives for his murder piling up. But who is telling the truth and who is lying? Worse still, Frida can't seem to shake the feeling that her own past isn't done with her yet. Did someone kill Poole to embroil her in the investigation? And if so, is Frida herself the next victim? A masterpiece of paranoia, Tuesday's Gone allows readers inexorably into a fractured and faithless world and confirms Frida Klein as a quintessential heroine for our times. Okay. First things first. First published in 2012 and then again in 2013. It has 371 pages with 53 chapters. I started this book on 9/25 and I finished it on 10/8. Y'all, okay, so I originally had started this book last year because there was a thing in our library reading program and we had to find a book with like a day of the week in the title, and obviously Tuesday's Gone, so Tuesday. It's a murder mystery. There's no spice in it at all. There are some graphic parts, and there are some, well, I don't even want to say mild abuse, because it's not, but I mean, obviously it's a murder mystery, so there is some talk of dead bodies, there is some talk of like people getting attacked and almost becoming dead bodies, so there is that. There is talk of some more morbid subjects. This review is going to be kind of vague. If you want a more thorough review, I will post one over on my blog at some point. I hope that maybe by the time that this is up that I will have it up, but if it's not up by the time that if my blog review isn't up by the time you're seeing this video, it should be up very shortly, because it's one that I'm definitely working on. This book is a classic example of writers who use big words to say things to make themselves look more intelligent than they actually are. And writers who, like the main character, she's a psychotherapist. And I think the plot is very, very intricate. And you only find out exactly what the plot is at the very end of the book. I am not a big fan, you guys, not a huge fan at all. And then you find out that Nicci French isn't actually a writer, it's a husband and wife who write together. Nicci French is the pseudonym of the internationally best-selling written partnership of suspense writers Nikki Gerard and Sean French. And then, in the very back, it says, the first novel in the Frida Klein series, Blue Monday, was an international bestseller. My problem with this is that nowhere did this say, like, Frida Klein series book 2. Which tells me that the books can probably be read on their own. Which, if they can be read on their own, they're not necessarily part of a series. Like, I would have appreciated that, because maybe I'm the kind of person where if I'm going to read a series or books about something, like, I want to start at the beginning, you know? And granted, I got into this book because it says this woman who had some mental issues, some psychological issues, she was serving tea to a naked, decomposed man on her sofa. And I read, and you get a very visceral description of that in the first couple of chapters. And I was just like, because I have that sick-mindedness, you know, I'm just like, I have to read more of this book. Like, this is, I gotta know what happened, right? or more about this, you know, how everything came to be, basically. The book was disappointing. It was highly disappointing. It went around in circles sometimes. It gave you clues. Like, most murder mysteries will leave you clues and little breadcrumbs along the way. This one did not do that. I'm pretty good at picking up those breadcrumbs, and I think maybe at a certain point you could kind of guess, but like, it also, when you're reading a murder mystery, everybody's a suspect, right? Like, everybody, all the characters in the book, even the one who says one word, even the one who doesn't say anything, if they're even mentioned one time, they're a suspect, right? You have to go into it with that mindset, because you don't know. This book was very disappointing. I read the readability 3 out of 5 stars, enjoyment 3 out of 5 stars, characters 4 out of 5 stars. I thought the characters were pretty well developed. The setting 3 out of 5. It's in the UK. It's pretty descriptive, but I still wasn't able to get much of a mental picture of it. So the way it was written was not great. Writing 3 out of 5 stars, and the plot 5 out of 5 stars. But the plot is super intricate, and you only really find out the full plot at the very end of the book. And I will say that there's like, at the end of one chapter, somebody is getting attacked, right? And then at the beginning of the next chapter, you find out who did everything in the rest of the book. Without any, like, hints, nothing is talked about, right? And then at the beginning, and they just say the name, like, this is who did it. And it's just like, I'm sorry. I like a kind of gradual, I like to put the puzzle pieces together. Like we'll say about juries, you know, when you try cases, juries like to put the puzzle pieces together in their head, so they can kind of think it through and be like, that does make sense, that makes sense, that makes, you know, and they like to figure it out too. This book was more in your face, telling you everything more than it was letting you guess everything, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not. As for will I read more in the series, I don't know. I was really intrigued by the Frida Klein character. I actually really enjoyed reading about her, but I feel like it could be written so much better. Like, I really feel like, you know how, you know, when you're in school and sometimes you want to make yourself look smarter and you're writing a paper and you're like, I'm going to go and I'm going to use the thesaurus, right? Or we used to use actual book thesauruses, you know, but nowadays you just go on a website and you can type in the word you want to use and it'll suggest other words, right? And you just pick like the biggest one. And it feels like a lot of this book, instead of just using smaller words, that's what they did. And I'm not saying that they're not intelligent. I'm just saying that when you use a lot of big words unnecessarily, as I mispronounce a word, it doesn't make you look smarter. It doesn't add anything to it. It just makes me think you're trying too hard. It makes me just really, you know, it's very off-putting. The book is just not very, for me, it wasn't very engaging. I rated the book 3 out of 5 stars. It's not horrible. It's not the worst book I've ever read. Would I read it again? Probably not. As much as I love the Frida Klein character and what she accomplished in this book, or she didn't really accomplish anything, what she did in this book and learning about her story and everything, I think it's, you know, I like the character. And I like some of the other characters too. I just didn't, it was hard to get through this book. It was extremely hard to get through this book. And there are some books that you pick up and you're just like, oh, okay. And you know, you start reading and you just, next thing you know, you've read half the book or the whole book. No, this book was definitely one that I had to force myself to read. And 53 chapters is a lot. So, like, I don't even know what else to say. Like, I want to say that, you know, the Frida, I usually compare the characters at the beginning of the book to where they are at the end of the book. There was really no character growth. She was slightly more open at the end of the book than she was at the beginning, but, you know, she's a doctor. She's contributing to a homicide case, which turns into homicide cases, and they have like a serial killer running around. They have to figure out who did it and all this stuff, and she kind of contributes her psychoanalysis, whatever, of it. And, you know, she kind of uses her brain to put things together, but there are some things that come out that she thought about certain characters in the book that I wouldn't, like, there was nothing to put that together. You know, usually when you get inside the main, of course, this is not one of those where it's inside the main character's head necessarily. It's like a third party. So like they might tell you what the main character is thinking, but they'll also tell you what the other characters are thinking, what's going on around them. There's more focus on what's going on around her than what she's actually thinking. And it was hard for me to read. It was really hard for me to read. And I hate to say that, but this book is lucky to get 3 stars, honestly. Like, because now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I probably should have given it 2. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan. I don't think that I will read more in this series. I have no interest in picking up another book by Nicci French or either one of those authors. I'm sorry, I have no desire to read more of their writing. It was very off-putting, and yeah, I don't, it was a letdown. It was a letdown. So I would not necessarily recommend this book. I think if you like murder mysteries, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, listen, you can obviously read whatever you want, but this one is not one that I'm like, I highly recommend go out and find it and read it. But yeah, I rate it 3 out of 5 stars. It's not my favorite. I've read better. I've had better. So let me know if you've read this book or any of the books in the Frida Klein series, any books by Nicci French or either one of the authors behind the Nicci French name. And let me know what you thought of them in the comments. I will include, of course, everything that I used on my face for my makeup in the description box below. Some products will have an Amazon affiliate link, which does pay me if you use them to purchase anything. But it's a great way to support me and my channel. I may link the book, I may not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think I forgot to link the last book that I reviewed. I think I forgot to link that in the review. So yeah, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to go follow me over on the Instagram. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content's gonna pop up over here on this channel. Neither do I. I thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!